Welcome to Prince Drive Garage. Today we are doing a review on brake pads. Here I have a few brands, as you can see, and these brake pads are going into this vehicle over here. As you well know that we've always had this emotive issue about braking and problem with brakes with these vans. And today I want us to discuss a few things about these brake pads, and finally I will take one brand and put it in the van, and then we see how it goes with time. So with me here, I have Advix. They are like the OEM manufacturers for the brake pads that originally come with the Toyota Hiace van. We also have Nishinbo, is equally a good brand. And over here we have this VBL Vasani, and this is usually what Kenyans have been using pretty often with the vans. So now here are the pads. So for the Advix, this is how the Advix looks. On the gripping surface, you see it has, of course, the composite resin, copper, and everything else. On the other end, it has its own branding and the brake pad classification. We also see the Nishinbo. It looks like that. It also has a bit of copper and other materials combined together. And this is how it looks from the back side, the back plate. Then we also have the VBL. It looks like that, and its end looks like this, the other end. And here we have a brake pad that came with the car from Japan. So this one I don't exactly know the brand, but you know we still have it over here. And here we have a used VBL brake pad that I've removed from the van right now. So what I would like us to discuss today is about the classes. The brake pads have classes or classifications, and our point of reference is this the Kenya Bureau of Standards, the Kenyan standard for brake drums and brake linings and disc brake pads specification. Here is the standard over there. So if you look at, for example, VBL, it is written type 1 class A. So what does type 1 class A mean? So if you come here, type 1 actually refers to shall be a rigid linings or pad. Of course, it is because it doesn't have any moving parts. The type 2 would be anything that has brakes but has flexible materials or movable materials in it. Then we have of course ours will be type 1 by default because it doesn't have any moving parts. But then we also have class A and class B. So class A shall be medium friction. So please note, it's medium friction with coefficient of friction between 0.25 to 0.35. Then we also have class B. Class B is of course high friction with the coefficient of friction greater than 0.35. And of course we have additional performance requirements as tested required by the Kenya Bureau of Standards. Of course, there are other standards, global standards for testing brakes, but largely even the KEB standard has also been borrowed from other standards globally. So now, when you come back to the brake pads, we find that Nishinbo is this one, this one is class B. So in terms of friction coefficiency, Nishinbo has a higher friction coefficiency than any class A brake pad we have over here. So which means it has a better gripping force than class A. So for the Advix, they haven't indicated on their packaging, which I hope they did, but maybe with time I'll check from their website and try to see the international standards they use to tell the coefficients of friction for Advix, but generally Advix is a good brand. I tend to think that their friction coefficient is quite high. So if you come with me here, what you can note is that the materials, the composite materials used to make these brake pads determines the noise, it determines the friction coefficient, it determines the lifespan of everything. So if you look at like the VBL, what we've been using is quite metallic on it. Is actually a metal. It has a very high percentage of metal, which makes it long lasting, but of course it compromises on the gripping force, and it has also a very high rate of wearing out the rotors because it is metal to metal contact. If you come to, you see the new one, you can even tell from the surface that it, is a lot of metal in it. So and basically that's the reason why I've always wanted to change to another brand. So that is why we are testing these new brands today. But if you look clearly, you will notice that the contact patch for for the OEM, let's say for this one, like the one, this unknown brand from Japan, is full end to end, is already full end to end. The same case, the surface area, all of it is end to end. If you look at VBL, it's also end to end, it's full. But if you look at Nishimbo, for instance, you will find that it is tapered, this end and this end. So which means from the start, this contact patch is a bit smaller than any of the other brands. You look at Advix, is just a bit tapered at the end. I don't know whether you can be able to see it. It's a bit tapered to the end, but for the first few kilometers, the gripping surface area is a bit less. So in terms of surface area, we would say that these two are a bit less surface area, which I think might just a bit compromise on the efficiency of the braking efficiency. But we will let the vehicle tell us more when we do everything on test. Nishimbo has this, like diagonal wedge where to collect and wipe out the material, the dust from the disc. This one is still, using this design. So we just hope that these two brands, either the winner, who will be the winner between these two. Okay, now, so what we are going to do, I am going to start with the Advix. I have a personal liking for Advix, but no, at the moment, I'll just let the vehicle tell us more. But I'm going to start with Advix. I am going to put these brake pads over here to this van. You see over here. This is a Photon. Let me just get the number plates. It's our van, so there's no worries. So we are going to put it over here. And what else you will notice is that our rotors, of course, they are quite in good shape. They are not, the surface is okay, it's quite flat, and it doesn't have glazing, though we are just going to sand it a little bit. So we just want the experiment to be neutral. So our disc is okay. We are going to put it, over there. Then we are going to take the mileage. Here is the mileage, 65,995 kilometers. So that once we put these brake pads over there, then we will let them run, and then every 2,000 kilometers we are going to remove them, inspect them, and take a small video and see how they are wearing out, and also get reviews from the driver on how he feels the brake pads are performing. And then we see whether the brake pads are worth upgrading to or not. So stay with me as we install these brake pads. Thank you, and stay tuned at Praise Drive.